Hello everyone, just relaxing in my chair. I've got my dog on my lap so I can't move very much here, but I was reading a passage and I want to say a few things about it today. It's from the 8th chapter of Romans in the Bible, the 26th verse, where it speaks about the Spirit of God speaking in our behalf. Do you ever feel at times you want to try to pray and you have no idea how to express yourself? It seems as though your feelings have just gotten the best of you, if you will, and you don't know how to say to God the things that you want to say because language sometimes just falls short, and sometimes you just begin to even cry and stammer, trying to get out the words that you want to say, which reveal your heart. Paul says, under the inspiration of the Holy Spirit, that likewise the Spirit helps us in our weakness. Let me just stop right there and realize again we're talking about the Holy Spirit. The Holy Spirit is a person. The Holy Spirit indwells those who have surrendered their lives to Jesus Christ. They are reborn, regenerated, and he now comes to live inside them, and he helps us with our prayers. Paul says, likewise, the Spirit helps us in our weakness, in those moments when you don't know what to say. And again, you just seem to be overwhelmed with things at times, and things seem to be so intense. Paul says, the Spirit helps us in our weakness, for we do not know how to pray as we ought. Again, with prayer, what really matters is that you're sincere, that you're being honest with God, and that you're not trying to put on some kind of facade, some kind of show, because he sees through us like an x-ray reads through a human being, or an MRI sees right into us. The Spirit of God sees right into us, reads our minds, our very thoughts, according to the Bible, and he understands what's going on. The Spirit helps us in our weakness, even though we do not know how to articulate that which is in our minds. We can't get it out. We get frustrated. It's so easy at that point just to give up, right? To give up and just to say there's no point in trying to go on any further. I just can't pray. And sometimes we go through periods like that. I can remember a time years back going through some great trials in ministry. And even, I have to say, for months I went along simply saying, Father, you understand. That's all I could say. I look back at that now and I'm thankful that I can say that the Lord articulated that feeling, that prayer, that expression, and made sense of it. Likewise, the Spirit understands us and interprets those things. It goes on to say in the 26th verse there, that he intercedes for us. That is to say, he mediates, he comes in between, he interposes himself between the saint and the Father, between the child of God and the Father in heaven. The Spirit interposes, steps in, and acts as a translator, if you will, and communicates to God. He imparts himself. He becomes a part of the process and communicates to God what is in your heart, what is in your mind. And it says there that he does this with sighs that are too deep for words, with groanings, with moanings. Sometimes a sigh says so much. One of the words we find in the Psalms and the Psalter in the Old Testament is this word Selah, which is really impossible to completely and for certain translate. It can mean musical interlude, but I think it's much more than that. I think it's when we reach this point where we just say, ugh. And maybe that's where you're at right now. You're saying, oh, I just can't express it. It's unspeakable. It's ineffable. It's beyond me. Well, let me again give you a word of encouragement that all you have to do is breathe forth a sigh. And the Spirit takes that sigh and He utters it before the Father in heaven. And He understands. I hope that encourages you today. Just know that, again, we don't have to be articulate and use great vocabulary words in order to convey what's on our heart. God knows. He knows right now what's on your heart. May that encourage you today, and God bless you today.